Hail. So this is actually a video I wanted to talk about, or it's a video rather on something I wanted to talk about for a little bit. And I figured the time was really right because I had recently shared a video by a YouTuber called Pinoy Blade Hunter. And in that video, which was in Tagalog, so if you understood it, you understood it. If you didn't, I'll reiterate it really quick. He was talking about this sword. Okay. Let me go ahead and take it out of its scabbard so we can get a good look at the blade. So for those of you who don't know what kind of sword this is called a Kampilan. And this is famous for being the long sword of the pre-colonial Philippines. Although it's not just a Philippine sword. We see this sword in this exact shape, weight, and form in other parts of the Austronesian areas of Southeast Asia. So, like, for instance, it's actually part of the royal regalia in the Bruneian Sultanate. I don't know if they call it Kampilan in Bruneian, but it's the same sword. In northern Sulawesi, which is like one of the northern parts of Indonesia, the Minahasa people use the exact same sword. And they don't call it a Kampilan, they call it a Santi. And actually, that's I'm gonna have to give a shout out to Lewis KP for pointing that out because I had never known that before. So that was pretty cool, and I'm learning. I'm slowly getting to learn more about that. So that's pretty cool. And that also it also is a good example of the interconnectivity in maritime Southeast Asia. Like these folks were exchanging quite a lot, and culturally are all really similar. And you know, as we're seeing with the theme here, this extends all the way out through the Pacific, and then Madagascar as well. And that's kind of a unique topic in and of its own. But Madagascar for sure is very Austronesian influence. But at any rate, in the video, as we see with the Kampilan, he talks about how the grip is always depicted by artists, patriotic artists, comic book artists, whatever, as being held wrong. You'll notice that I'm holding the sword like this. Artwork will always show you like this. This looks like it would make sense. The problem with that is, it's really simple. The sharp edge is on this side, and then the dull edge is on that side. So again, the sharp edge is on this side, the dull edge is on this side. Back here, sharp edge, dull edge, okay? And simply put, if I were to fight with it like this, I would constantly have the sharp edge near me. And that's a very, obviously not smart thing to do. This trickles in the practice with certain FMA-style fighters who are trying to spar with training weapons that are replicated off of this, where they'll hold it like this and they'll hold it like this. So what that looks like up here at the tip is it'll look like that as opposed to this. This is what it should be looking like. This, again, this right here is all the way sharp up there. Back here, it's dull all the way up here. Now up here you'll see that it kind of divots and it kind of spins out to form this little spike feature. It's still dull back here, and then this little V crook up here where the 2 points, where there are the 2 points, that's all dull in there too. There's only one sharp edge on this sword. It's on this side. You have to be very careful with this sword because it's razor sharp. So, but it's that's why you would hold it this way as opposed to this. This looks like it would make sense, but on historical originals and in authentic made, an authentically made or traditionally made modern ones like this one, it would be held like this because the edge would be on this side. Okay. So we see a lot of guys sparring and doing that, and it looks kind of silly. It's not right. They're holding it backwards. The other thing, and that's actually the moral of the story in his video. So that's his video. So he's right. What I want to add to that is this shape. There's various reasons for this shape. A lot of the explanation that it's more artistic. It's supposed to depict like a monster. Like these are supposed to be the gaping jaws of like a monster. And like on original examples or authentic or like traditionally made examples, like this one's not so. This one's got a traditional shape and a feel and a balance to it, but it's not as ornate. It's very, very simple, very simple hardwood. You'll see like little eyes carved into it on either side. Like there's an eye here, there's an eye here, and then like on both sides you'll see like teeth, what look like teeth carved in there, and it looks like a monster's head. Not a monster, but like depending on who you ask, because it varies. It's either depicting like a mythic dragon from whatever region is using this sword, or it's like a legendary crocodile or a mythic crocodile or whatever. It's a complicated topic that would make this a really, really long video, but suffice it to say, it's the crocodile's jaw, we'll give it, or we'll call it for sake of the video. It's flat up here. There's a provision there for literally human hair. So your defeated foes, you would take their hair and you would like tie it on here with like rattan strips, and then there would be that case. A lot of examples have that. A lot of examples have metal kind of protrusions here that kind of add more protection to the hand. I mean, this block guard right here is really good protection in and of itself, but like the added metal on the side, you get that too. Not on all examples, but you do. Suffice it to say, in addition to this being wrong and this being right, I have to add this, and I don't remember if he adds it in the video. I'd have to watch the whole thing because I've only watched bits and pieces of it, but I have to remember whether or not he addresses this. But it's also awkward to kind of a lot of artists depict it, a lot of warriors and stuff holding it like this, like it's a baseball bat. I have done tatami cutting tests with this said sword with a friend of mine. And I have to look. I'm pretty sure I have footage of it. If I do, I'll share it. If not, I'll make some when I can. But I did test cutting with this. We experimented cutting with this sword one-handed versus two-handed like this, like it's depicted. And we noticed that because of the awkward shape of this for the offhand, this is a very strange shape for your offhand. It kind of cuts. It kind of messes up. It doesn't cut very cleanly, whereas one-handed, it's just like it's like a laser. It's very, very good at that. But and I'll caveat this now. I do think it is a two-handed sword. I just don't think this is right. For that reason, the shape is a little bit awkward, and it kind of, when you try to tighten your grip to cut with it, it kind of messes up, or it kind of slightly jars the edge alignment just enough that that's not super great. But in addition, like I was mentioning, there's hair there, so you wouldn't be able to grab it there very, very easily. My theory, I contend, is that you actually hold it not like this, but like this, where I have the kind of lower jaw right there of the crocodile. I kind of have my offhand underneath my sword arm, and then I have it here, okay? And when I want to switch, when I want to switch to the other side, right? My hand, it's still along that sweep, but my hand is in alignment there. Switch, switch. I'll go more into the mechanics in a separate video when I have more space to film and I have more time. But essentially, I think that's actually, talking about space, that's actually what I think is how you actually do it. And it's kind of, the upper body's kind of doing like, how I would describe kind of like a rowboat motion. And considering that you have human hair there, the way I'm looking at it, according to my theory, is that I'm going to brush the opponent and then cut him. Brush the opponent, cut him. I'm preparing him for his beheading, as it were. This is attributed to being kind of a quote-unquote headhunter's sword. I could easily see this, easily see this doing that said thing. But I don't know. That's kind of my theory on it right now. I will go into the mechanics of that and demonstrate how I would go about that. And this isn't an FMA style specific thing. You could be a PTK player, you could be a Dosipadas player, you can be an Arnis player, whatever. I just think that the overall grip, and I think part of how we're going to understand how these were used in pre-colonial times. I think this grip makes. It makes a lot of sense considering this kind of grip shape. If it was meant to be held like this, I would think that the design would just be like this. It would just be like this portion here, but continued all the way through instead of having this stylistic sort of situation here. So, I mean, having said that, it has this stylistic thing here. So I think there is, to me, in my estimation, I theorize that there is a specific way to kind of grip this and use this. And it's not style specific. So again, you could be a PTK player, a Dosipadas player, whatever. If you're to pick up the Kampilan, you can still do your techniques, you can still do your Carranzas, you could still do your Sayaos, so on and so forth. But you would add them into the you would add this grip into that repertoire, because I guess what I'm saying is I think this is a specialist weapon. And I don't think it's a coincidence that we typically associate this weapon with like ancient chieftains and ancient nobles and things like that in the Philippine Islands, and indeed throughout the Austronesian parts of Southeast Asia. So that's kind of my theory. I hope this encourages everybody to kind of get into a discussion about it, and we can explore the use of the Kampilan. I know I'm going to definitely be producing more stuff to show this. So yeah, any questions, comments, concerns, please comment below. Would love to hear from all of you, and I would love to learn more. So